Have you ever felt like the world was against you? Like you were being judged for something you didn't deserve, and the people you thought would have your back just didn't come through? If you've ever felt betrayed, isolated, or misunderstood, then you might just understand Johnny Depp's experience on a deeper level. He's been through a lot, and it's not just the drama with Amber Heard. Behind all the courtroom drama, there's a bigger story, one of personal betrayal, loss, and ultimately, resilience. Let's take a closer look at everything Johnny Depp has gone through and what it really means for his future. Johnny Depp's life over the past few years has been anything but ordinary. It wasn't just about his career, his movies, or his reputation, it was about his entire world being turned upside down. And it all came to a head with the infamous trial against his ex-wife, Amber Heard. If you've been following the trial at all, you know it got messy fast. From the very first moments, there was drama everywhere, allegations flying left and right, accusations about abuse, and endless media coverage that kept the world on edge. Everyone seemed to have an opinion about what was going on, and Johnny became the focal point of it all. But what most people didn't realize was that, for Johnny Depp, this trial wasn't just about clearing his name. It was about reclaiming control of his life. For years, he'd been painted as someone he wasn't, his character was questioned, his reputation attacked, and he was forced to defend himself in ways most of us can't even imagine. It wasn't just the accusations from Amber that hurt, it was the betrayal from people he thought he could trust. People who came forward during the trial had their own reasons for being involved, but Johnny felt that not everyone was there for the truth. Instead, some used the situation to their advantage, taking advantage of the public spectacle to promote their own agenda. Johnny recently opened up about his experience and made a shocking revelation. He said there were people who did him dirty during this whole trial. And it wasn't just Amber who he was referring to. There were others involved who Johnny felt were playing their own game, looking to capitalize on his misfortune. And this betrayal didn't just come from strangers. It came from people he thought he could trust, people who were supposed to be there for him when everything else fell apart. Imagine finding out that the people you leaned on, the ones you called friends, weren't really on your side. That's a hard pill to swallow, and for Johnny, it's a reality he's had to face head-on. Now, when you think about public trials, it's easy to assume that the only pressure a person faces is from the media. But the truth is, there's so much more to it. Johnny wasn't just facing scrutiny from the press, he was dealing with the added weight of having people in his life who weren't truly supportive. The betrayal wasn't just about the courtroom, it was about the people behind the scenes who should have had his back, but didn't. It's one thing to be in the public eye and face criticism from the world, but it's another thing entirely to have people you trust turning against you. Johnny didn't just lose his privacy during the trial, he lost his sense of security, his trust in others, and his belief that the people around him had his best interests at heart. It's tough to accept that people you've known for years, people you thought were friends, might have used your downfall for their own gain. But that's exactly what Johnny faced. It's a harsh realization that can shake anyone to their core. The people he once considered allies, colleagues, and close friends seemed to be using the situation to further their own careers or boost their own public profiles. For Johnny, this wasn't just about a legal battle, it was about the people in his life who let him down when he needed them most. But despite all the betrayal, the lies, and the negative press, Johnny Depp didn't let it destroy him. He didn't give up. Instead of sinking deeper into the negativity, he found a way to rise above it. He started focusing on the people who truly supported him, the ones who didn't care about the headlines, the drama, or the gossip. They saw him for who he really was and stood by him through it all. And that's what ultimately kept him going. Johnny found solace in his family, his true friends, and his fans, those who never wavered in their support for him. They didn't see him as a celebrity or a public figure, they saw him as a person who needed help, just like anyone else going through a tough time. And when the world seemed to be against him, these were the people who helped him keep going. Sometimes, it's not the number of people you have around you, but the quality of those who stick by your side. Johnny's story shows us that even in the darkest of times, there are people who will always have your back. The trick is finding them and holding on tight. But let's not just focus on the people who let Johnny down. The real lesson here is about the importance of trusting the right people. In life, we all face challenges, and it's during those difficult moments that we truly learn who we can count on. Johnny Depp's story is a reminder that trust is something we shouldn't take lightly. When trust is broken, it can be hard to rebuild, but it's not impossible. Johnny's experience shows us that even when people betray you, there's always a way to rise above it and move forward. Let's take a moment to think about what this trial really represented for Johnny Depp. Yes, it was about clearing his name, but it was also about taking control of his narrative. For years, he'd been the subject of countless rumors and accusations, many of which were completely false. People had painted him as a villain, someone he wasn't. This trial gave him the chance to speak up, to tell his side of the story, and to fight back against the unfair portrayal of who he truly was. It wasn't easy, and it wasn't without consequences, but Johnny had to do it. He couldn't let others continue to dictate who he was or what people thought of him. This trial, as messy and public as it was, gave Johnny a chance to stand up for himself, something he hadn't been able to do for a long time. It's easy to forget that Johnny Depp is more than just the characters we see on screen. We tend to forget that celebrities are real people, too, dealing with real struggles, heartbreak, and betrayal. They may have millions of fans, but they also face the same personal challenges that we all do. Johnny's trial showed us that behind the fame, behind the movies, and behind the glitz and glam, he's just like anyone else. Someone who has been hurt, someone who has been betrayed, and someone who has had to fight for his reputation. We often forget that celebrities are human beings who deal with all the same emotions, insecurities, and struggles that we do. Johnny's story is a testament to resilience in the face of adversity. Through all the pain and betrayal, Johnny didn't let it define him. He didn't let the negativity control his life. Instead, he kept moving forward, even when the odds were stacked against him. Johnny's story is one of perseverance, of standing up for yourself when everything seems to be falling apart. And that's what makes his story so inspiring. It's not just about overcoming the trial, it's about how he handled the fallout, how he refused to let the negativity break him, and how he learned to rebuild his life and his trust in people. So, what can we learn from Johnny Depp's experience? First, we learn that people will always let you down, especially when things are tough. But we also learn that loyalty and trust are earned, and that's something worth holding on to. Johnny's story shows us that even in the most challenging times, it's possible to rise above the negativity and rebuild your life. The key is to surround yourself with the right people, the ones who see you for who you really are, and who won't let you fall when everything else around you seems to be crumbling. Johnny's journey isn't over, and he's not done. This trial may have been a major chapter in his life, but it's not the end of his story. He's learned, he's grown, and he's come out stronger on the other side. And that's the real takeaway from his experience. Even when everything seems to be falling apart, there's always hope, there's always a way forward, and there's always the chance to rise again. So, if you've ever felt betrayed, hurt, or misunderstood, remember Johnny Depp's story. It's okay to feel the pain, but it's also okay to let go of the people who don't have your best interests at heart. Focus on the ones who truly care about you, and keep moving forward with your head held high. Trust may be hard to find, but when you do find it, it's worth holding on to. Keep going, because you're stronger than you think. That's all for today's video. I'd love to hear what you think about Johnny's experience. Do you think he was wronged by the people around him, or was it all part of the drama? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.